What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Steelers Breakdown podcast here on Penn Live. We are one day away from the first preseason game, and yet I feel like almost no one's talking about it, but we will talk about it. Everyone's talking about Brandon Ayuk. I have said just about everything I needed to say on that. Where it at is, the timeline, etc., etc. There's been almost nothing new come out since I recorded that episode yesterday where I said, hey, maybe that third team to get a wide receiver in there is going to happen. The Steelers not going to give up a premium player to get it done. So it makes complete sense why we are at a standstill right now, and that's what I would characterize it as. It is currently at a standstill. So, in my opinion, no real use in talking about it if nothing has changed. So we are going to instead flip over the script and look ahead to a little bit of what we can expect tomorrow from the Pittsburgh Steelers against the Houston Texans. We know that a few guys are going to be sitting out in this game. For example, Russell Wilson, Isaac Seumalo, Patrick Queen, Minka Fitzpatrick, TJ Watt, Cam Hayward, and Alex Highsmith all will not play against the Houston Texans. The Houston Texans will play their number ones for two series, according to head coach D'Amico Ryans. And D'Amico Ryans seems really excited about this. And I think the Pittsburgh Steelers should be absolutely stoked about the potential of seeing these guys, CJ Stroud, Nico Collins, Tank Dell, and Stephon Diggs in particular, I think, are three guys that I really want to see because I think the Steelers have a lot to look at in that corner room. So I want to see what Beanie Bishop's going to bring to the table. I want to see what Dante Jackson's going to look like. I want to see all of these guys. And so I just think it's going to be so important for the Steelers to evaluate their players against guys like this. The Pittsburgh Steelers, in particular, really have a lot to figure out on the offensive line and in the secondary. There's no doubt about that. And Beanie Bishop has done very well against everyone the Steelers have thrown his way. But how does he do against this receiving core? Because this wide receiving room for the Texans is good. Even behind the three I mentioned, you still have John Mechie and Xavier Hutchinson and Betsko Ronick and Noah Brown and John Mechie and all these guys that really are solid. Robert Woods. I think I said Mechie twice instead of Robert Woods. But you kind of understand what you're going up against. And so you're going to learn a lot about these guys in the secondary. That's a really good thing. And the Steelers need to find out what they have in Beanie Bishop in a stadium. Also, I just think they've had some guys in the slot and on the outside start to really pop in the corner room. Guys like Anthony Averett have had very solid starts to camp. Thomas Graham has come on recently. Braylon Arnold missed about the last week or so, but he came back yesterday and came back in today fully. Had a pick today. Man, he continues to really play well. And so he's a guy to look at. Braylon Arnold. Thomas Graham continues to move up the chain because he keeps making plays on the football. So you see some of these guys really pop, and I want to see how they look in stadiums because I think the Steelers have some intriguing talent at cornerback in what they can find. I also think you look at what you have at tackle. So this is another thing that I have just been kind of befuddled by at points. First of all, what in the world are the Pittsburgh Steelers doing with Broderick Jones? We're talking about a guy that came out of Georgia raw. He was raw at offensive tackle, and you had to get his technique ready. And so that would lend itself to putting him into the more natural spot to learn his technique. And he has said multiple times his more natural spot is left, not right tackle. I still am a little worried about where the pass pro is going to be. He's a great run blocker, and you can put him on either side when you want run blocking. But right now, He said he is the starting right tackle. That's where they view him. And so we'll see. We have seen this week they are not fully linked to that because we have seen Troy Fautanu start to get first team reps, and we've seen Broderick Jones and Dan Moore flipping at left tackle at times. So we have started to see the shift a little bit from where it was. And I think the Steelers see it very much in a similar light. They are going to look at how they can implement these tackles together in the best way possible. And I think Fautanu and Jones are going to be the two best. And I'm excited to see what the Steelers can get out of Troy Fautanu in his first game. I'm also excited to see what Will Anderson does against guys like Broderick Jones. I want to see where Broderick Jones's technique has taken a step because we haven't seen a ton of one-on-ones with Broderick. He's taken some of the team periods off because of this elbow injury he's dealt with, but he will be out there and he will be a integral part. He might even flip over to left tackle when Troy Fautanu comes in the game. That would not surprise me at all because they do want to see him at left tackle and right tackle, not just in practice, but in a game. So I really think the Steelers, when you look at this, have to figure out their best spots on the ends of that offensive line. It's going to be who is in which spot. I think it's going to end up being Jones at left tackle and Fautanu at right tackle. I think Fautano's just been so polished and so fluid. So I really find it hard to believe it won't be Troy Fautanu. He looks like a week one starter to me. Continues to play very well out there when he's got the opportunity. Even when he went against the first team, TJ Watt didn't really wreck a ton of things completely. He was able to compete with TJ Watt. And when you are a rookie like that and you're going up against an elite edge rusher, that's really what you're looking for. You're looking for guys that are going out there competing and holding their own. And he did that extremely well. So I look at Troy Fautanu as a guy that is on the rise. And I really, really do like what I've seen out of Troy Fautanu. I'm also looking, of course, at Justin Fields. No Russell Wilson, so this is a huge opportunity for one Justin Fields. If today's walkthrough was anything to go by, man, they're going to let him run. They're going to use QB run game. They're going to use read options and QB power and different things like that because they were installing it and running it a lot today. And that's going to be interesting. We've seen him use it at times, but we really haven't seen him fully unleash it. And what I mean by that is I haven't seen Justin Fields run through tackles and how he breaks tackles. And you can kind of try to simulate what his speed looks like and what would be a touchdown, what wouldn't be. But in a practice setting, when it's just touch and it's just pursuit angles, a lot of guys that you would say sacked him might not sack him. So I want to see this elusiveness, and I want to see just how everything I've seen in practice translates over. Does he have the same accuracy? Is he getting the ball out to the correct spots? Does all of this translate over into games? If it does, I think, I think that's something to be excited about um, about about him because I really do think he has done a nice job. I just want him to show me it in a stadium. That is what I want to see. And so lots of good things for Justin Fields. He is playing well. And so I'm looking forward to seeing that. I'm also looking forward when Russell Wilson does play, how he fits in this Arthur Smith offense. So lots of things to watch tomorrow against the Texans. We'll be back tomorrow. We'll talk about some guys that I think are maybe more down the roster list and guys that are going to benefit from this a lot. But I did want to kind of preview it because you see the starters right now for the Texans are going to play, and you want to see some of those tests for those two series, like Beanie Bishop, for example, and how Justin Fields does against the Texas Stars. You want to see those guys really play well, especially since the Steelers aren't going to be playing all their starters. They're going to be at a little bit of a disadvantage, but big opportunities for guys like Nick Herbig as well. off the edge, of course, and you're going to see DeMarvin Leal, I think, a lot. So there's a lot of opportunities for these guys to make some noise. Meanwhile, the Brian Ayuk stuff will continue on until it is resolved. And so both those storylines, very important, of course, in Steelers Nation. All right, folks, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, turn the notification bell if you are listening to this on a podcasting platform. Make sure to leave a review. Be back tomorrow. And folks, thanks for listening.